Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Suresh, good morning. Yes,
A very good morning and good evening. So we'll get started in a couple of minutes, folks. But while others are joining, I just want to introduce myself, and I would let you introduce yourself. So first things first, I'm Suresh. I have 12 plus years of experience into IT. And right from the day one, I have been working on data technologies. So I started my career as a Hadoop developer. So I started working on big data right from the day one. So, and I mean, I was predominantly working on MapReduce, Hive, Pig, and then Flume back then. Then I moved into Spark, where I was developing Spark applications, using Spark SQL predominantly, and also Spark streaming to some extent. And once the cloud came into existence, I have made a career shift into Azure data engineering. And I was predominantly working on Azure services, and I do have experience working on GCP and some experience on AWS, but I can consider myself as an expert in Azure, professional in GCP, and maybe a beginner in AWS. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about me, guys. I would let you introduce yourself. You don't have to unmute yourself to introduce. All I'm looking for is your name and then your total years of experience and the technology you are currently working on. Okay, so in my case, Suresh, 12 years, and then technology is Azure Data Engineer. Okay, if you are a fresher, you can just mention Suresh and then fresher. Okay, you can use the chat option to send your responses. Hey, hi Yashasri. Vinay, 5 years data migration engineer. Hey, hi Vinay. Hi Pradeep,
Hi, Suresh.
PL SQL developer. Wow. Hi Ramu. Hi Ram. Hi Sandhya. Hi Naidu, Snowflake. Wow. Hi Ratna. Hi Shravya. Okay, we'll get started. This is just a demo, and I'm not here to showcase my training skills in next 45-50 minutes, but I'm here to make yourself comfortable with what you are going to learn in this course, and then address your questions if you have any to my best of my knowledge. Okay, and will make yourself comfortable. Okay. So talking about the agenda, I'm going to talk about the data roles to start with. And secondly, what exactly data engineering is. Okay. And, I'll try to explain what a data engineer does in day-to-day activities or day-to-day life. Okay. And, I'll be wrapping up my demo content with, walking you through the course content. Okay. And I'll open the forum for, your Q&A. Okay. So, based on the introductions, you have pinged in the chat window. I have seen a few folks coming from the data background, which is really good. I have seen someone from data migration, someone from Snowflake, someone from PL/SQL. Okay, so uh, you know, basically, I would say it's a good start for people who are coming from data background, and others I have seen are freshers. This is another important criteria for me. I really love to train freshers because they come from fresh mindset. They don't carry any background of what they are already working on. Okay, so I would say this is a good mix. Now let's try to understand different roles what we have in this data field, guys. One is data engineer, and the second one is data scientist, and third one is data analyst, right? So let's try to understand what these roles are, what responsibilities each of these roles carry. Let's try to make this session as interactive as possible. Okay. So before I explain, any idea what exactly data engineer does or data scientist does, data analyst does? Yes, no, maybe.
No.
Okay, no problem. So sometimes this data analyst is also referred to as business analyst. Okay. Now let me explain. I'll take a scenario and I'll try to explain based on this scenario. I'm just making it up, right? So now you have joined our uh, demo, and our institute is Career IT. Okay. Now let's say we are planning to launch Azure Data Engineering course. Okay. Now for this Azure Data Engineering course, we would like to do a couple of activities. One is marketing, and second one is sales. Okay. So the simple marketing strategy, the first simple marketing strategy would be to, advertise, right? And to whom we will be advertising, to the contacts which we already have. This is going to be the first easiest step, but that will not fetch us the business what we are planning for on a bigger scale, right? So let's say our contacts is there in our database. Okay. Now my business problem here is to get more folks to this course called Azure Data Engineering. Okay. Now what I would do is I would hire someone called as data scientist, and I would want him to, create some strategies to, I would say data analyst along with data scientist along with data analyst. Okay. And I want them to create some strategies so that I can, you know, uh, I can probably use those strategies to improve my business or to enhance my business. Okay. Now they have come up with some strategies. Again, when I say strategies, it's not straightforward. They wanted to see what we are doing and then how our sales are happening for the existing batches, right? And all that information is there in my databases. Okay, in my internal database. Okay. So they want to see how my current batches are doing, career IT current batches are doing, what are the different campaigns we are doing, and the kind of attention we are getting from the audience. So all these things they want to understand, and how they will be able to understand that. What can help them understand that? Yes, yes, data. Okay. So they need to look at data. Now, just by looking at the data in the way it is, will they be able to interpret anything? Answer is no. Okay, because I have I'll give you a simple use case, guys. Okay, so this is pretty famous in digital marketing segment. We have something called as customer journey. Okay, now I'll try to explain few simple and understandable nomenclature to you. Stop me if you are not able to follow. Okay, so first thing is leads or contacts. So whenever I want to do some business, I would need some leads. Okay, so contacts are something which I already have, but I would need some leads. How the leads can be generated? There could be multiple ways on how we can generate leads. Okay. Say for example, maybe I can run Google advertisements, which would give me some leads, or maybe I could rely on some third-party organization who can do some marketing for me and get the leads, right? And there are other social media uh, marketing, right? Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, or TikTok marketing. I can do any of these marketing in order to get the leads. Okay. Now, second one I want you to understand is something called as campaigns. So campaigns is basically uh, what I conduct in order to attract my customers. So for example, this demo is one of my campaign. This demo is one of my campaign, and uh, maybe if I send an email saying that, boss, we are going to start this Azure data engineering course, that is another example of campaign. And then text messages could be another campaign. And then maybe a one-day workshop can be another campaign. And then Google Ads can be another campaign. Okay. And then Instagram marketing is another campaign. So there could be multiple campaigns, guys. Okay. So now the third one, which I want you to understand, is a campaign member. So basically, if you are understanding this, you are actually understanding how Salesforce works. Okay. So third one is campaign member. Now, anybody who is attending these campaigns are, we refer to them as opportunity, okay, or a campaign member. So this campaign member will have the contacts or leads who have attended any of these campaigns. Okay. And we consider them as our leads, sorry, opportunities. Okay. So the next step is opportunities. Okay. Now, if you all have attended this demo, right? Now you are all my opportunity. You might ask me, boss, what is the difference? Okay, so let me explain. Now uh, we have shared a status about this demo in WhatsApp, and we have circulated, this information in multiple forums we have, like Facebook pages, and then to the contacts who we already have. We have sent an email, right? You must have known about this demo from one of these channels. So we call them as marketing channels. Okay, and now you have attended this demo. Okay, so this is also part of a campaign. Now, since you have showed interest into our product, which is nothing but this course, you will become our opportunity. Okay, so till now, what are the interactions that has happened to you are referred to as marketing interactions. What are the interactions that has happened till now with you are marketing interactions. Now, you have attended this demo, you will become our opportunity. And now, what are the interactions that will happen going forward will be our sales interactions. Okay. So the marketing strategy would change now because now you have attended demo. Our target would be to sell this course to you. Okay. Now we'll follow a different set of things. Okay. And let's say once you have paid the fees and joined our course, you will become our prospect. This is some terminology, guys. Okay. Now, what exactly is this customer journey? I'll pick one customer, let's say customer X, and let's say this guy have received an email first, and then after email, this guy have received a text message, and then he saw an Instagram post, and this is where he have shown interest. This is where he have shown interest, okay, to attend our demo, and he registered for it. He became an opportunity for us, okay. And once he have become an opportunity, he attended a demo. And once he attended a demo, let's say he is not satisfied with the demo, and maybe he want to talk to the trainer, and we have arranged a call with trainer. And this is where he decided to go with the course. And the alternate is also possible. So zero is deciding to go with the course is one, and zero is deciding not to go with the course, zero or one. And this is what we call as customer journey. This is what we call as customer journey. Okay. Now, basically, what our data scientists want to do is they just want to look at this customer journey and want to predict the potential customers so that, you know, the sales folks can focus more on those potential customers. Okay. So what exactly is that? So, for example, you know, now this is usually a successful journey, guys, because people who have attended demo and then a call and or maybe a workshop, they usually tend to join. Okay. Let's say there is another case, email and then text message, and this guy have never responded. Now his outcome is zero. Now let's say somebody is in middle of the journey. Let's say he received an email and then he saw an Insta post and then he attended a demo. Okay. Now, you know, he is still in the demo phase. Okay. Now, let's say there is another guy who have received an email and then, you know, and then a text message. Okay. And, you know, he is currently at this stage. He's currently at this stage. Now, what we do is, what are the algorithm we are going to run? You know, this should compare with the previous customer journeys and then try to understand whether this guy can become a potential customer or not. At least looking at his journey, you know, he might become a potential customer. And looking at this journey, at this point in time, he might not be a potential customer. So we'll not waste time on this guy, but we will try to catch hold of this guy and then, uh, you know, try to give him as much information as he want and try to support him as much as he needs in order to make him our prospect. Okay. And maybe our data scientist is trying to give us this potential customers list. Now, let me take a pause. Are we good so far? Yes, no,
Yes.
maybe.
Yes.
Okay. And creating this customer journey, right? Forget about this ones and zero labels or predicting whether these guys will become, maybe I have this customer journey, predicting whether they will become a potential customer or not is a data scientist job. So that's where predictive analytics comes into picture. Let's not get there. Okay, predicting whether these guys will become our potential customers or not is not a data engineer job, but a data scientist job. Okay, but to give the data to customer in this format is a data engineer job because a data scientist cannot do it by himself. Now, if you see, this data could be at multiple places. For example, the data could be in my database, my internal data, and then maybe I'm purchasing some data from third-party vendor in order to get the leads. Okay, and I might get that data shared via an SFTP server. SFTP server is nothing but secure file transfer protocol. So generally, whenever we are purchasing data from third-party organizations, right, you know, they'll not share it just like that. They'll put it in a SFTP server from where you'll have to pull it. Okay, and then maybe another source could be maybe some clickstream data. Okay, so this clickstream data is another interesting thing, guys. Say, for example, if you have visited CareerIT website and then maybe you have clicked on Azure Data Engineering course, we will be capturing some data based on your click. Okay, say for example, you are doing it using Google Chrome, we should be able to get your email. Okay, for every click you are making in any website, you know, some data would be captured in the backend. in a JSON format, like, your IP address and then your email ID and from what location you are viewing that particular website. So there are a lot of fields, but I would say these are some important attributes which we capture. Okay. So this clickstream data or, Google Ads data. Okay. So maybe we'll stick to only few sources and this data would be in a different format, right? Now, for me to, in addition to this, maybe this is the database where I have all the information like this campaigns information, opportunities information, and then leads contacts. They are in different tables. Now, what I'll have to do is I will have to extract data from all these sources and then do all the wrangling that is needed. When I say wrangling, I'm talking about data transformations like, filtering, aggregations, joins, unions, whatnot, whatever it takes. Okay. So whatever it takes, I will have to do it. And then I'll have to prepare data in this format. Okay. Once I have created data in this format, that is where my data scientist would come into picture and he would run his algorithm, predictive analytics algorithm, whatever it could be. It could be a regression algorithm. It could be classification algorithm. It could be anything. Okay. He would run his algorithm and then he would predict the potential customers and our upcoming marketing strategies will be predominantly on those folks. Okay, so this should give you a snapshot of what a data engineer does and what a data scientist does. Now, coming back to this data analyst or a business analyst. So what this guy actually does, maybe the definition in the market is a little different for a data analyst, but based on my experience, right, generally these data analysts would come with a business background, business knowledge. Okay, say for example, I am a data engineer. All I know is the services which I can use to wrangle my data, transform my data, and get it into the format where it can be directly consumable. Okay, now I was talking about transformations, right? Like joins, unions, filters, aggregates. Okay, I know how to do it. Okay, but I don't know where to do it, what to do. Okay, what do I mean by that? Say, for example, I don't know where exactly my leads data is. I don't know what exactly campaign data is. I don't know how I can get an opportunity. Okay, so all these information would be coming from your analyst who is having a strong background knowledge, business knowledge, background business knowledge. Okay, so that guy would be telling us, boss, you'll have to go join campaign and campaign member table along with the leads table in order to get what particular person have attended what particular campaign, and this guy will become our opportunity. Okay, so this information you would always get from a data analyst. Okay, so data analyst or a business analyst, and these are the guys who would also convert the data into visuals. Okay, so that your business folks who doesn't care about technology can understand. Okay, now coming back to these roles, data scientist, he take care of all the AI, machine learning, data science, deep learning, what are the terminology you want to call with. This guy is the one who is responsible for taking care of all those things, and this guy will take care of the business aspect of it. Okay. And he is the guy who takes care of the data, the actual data. Okay. So he is the one who would always get your data into the usable format. It could be by a data analyst or it could be by a data scientist. But he is the guy who would take care of your data, how the data can be stored, how the data can be managed, how to because this is not a one-time activity, right? It keeps on happening on a daily basis because I'm not going to take a single batch, right? So my batch duration is 2 months. After completion of this batch, I'll have to start another batch. Okay, so for starting another batch, I will have to continue my marketing process and sales process so that at least I can consolidate my batch a week before I start. Okay, so this is a daily process. So I can't do these things manually on a daily basis. I'll have to automate it. And automating these things, right? All these are the responsibilities of a data engineer. Let me take a pause. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So in this process, right, a data engineer is the one who would be capable of dealing with different types of data. Okay, structured, unstructured, semi-structured. If you are not able to understand this terminology, it is still fine. This is going to be the topic in our first session. Okay. So, but for now, try to understand, yes, he will have to deal with different types of data. So these categorization is based on how your data look. Okay. And then based on the relevancy of your data, you have transactional data, you have historic data. Okay. So he's the one who would be dealing with all those things. And then, he will have to make sure the data is presentable or consumable. Say, for example, my data scientist want to run an algorithm. He should be able to directly get data from this particular output, whatever this data engineer is building, and he should be able to run his algorithm. Maybe data analyst want to create his own report. The same thing, what are the data engineer provides, data analyst should be able to build his reports on top of it. It could be a Power BI report or a Tableau report or a MicroStrategy report or ThoughtSpot, whatever it is, right? So, this guy should be able to handle the automation part as well, which we call as data pipelines. This guy should be able to build those data pipelines end to end, and then he should be able to automate them based on the requirement. Because talking about requirement again, your processing could be batch processing, real-time streaming processing. So batch processing is nothing but anything which is scheduled, which runs once in a day, twice in a day, or once in a week, once in a quarter, once in a month. So whenever you have a fixed schedule, we call that as a batch processing. And when there are no such schedules and we'll have to run it, all the time, that is when we call it as a streaming application or a real-time streaming application. Say, for example, here, clickstream data is a typical example for real-time streaming, guys. This clickstream data, because, users would visit our website in a real-time fashion. Okay. Now, this is how you are able to see a lot of ad recommendations from the Google. Now, you should be able to understand, right? Whenever you're clicking, you're generating some data in the back end without you noticing it, which will be utilized by a lot of people, right? For, marketing their products. So for example, I'm not sure how many of you are joining from India, but at least in India, when let's say you are searching for something in Google, maybe I'm looking for a home loan, or maybe I'm looking for a GRE course. Okay, maybe after doing an hour of research, a couple of hours of research, I would start getting calls from the respective consultancies. Okay, so I have not registered anywhere, but this is how they are able to do it. Okay, so this is another example of clickstream data. And another example for real-time streaming application is trending. So if you see the Twitter, I'm not sure how many of you are using Twitter account. Okay, but if you are using Twitter account, there is something called as trending. These days, a lot of fan wars are happening there. Okay, so the way they predict, it's not prediction, but the way they calculate the trending is also real-time streaming, because trending charts would change from time to time. Okay, even when you are looking at the trending chart, right, it will show you, X number of tweets in last 30 minutes, X number of tweets in last 1 hour. Okay, maybe in the next 1 hour, if the number of tweets increased for another hashtag, then that would get into trending. Okay, this is another example of the real-time streaming process, guys. Okay, now as a data engineer, now you must have understood what we need to do, right? And for the same, you cannot just think and do it, right? You would need some support. You would need to learn something. That is where, our data engineering services comes into picture. And talking about data engineering, you can do data engineering using any cloud service. Okay, you can use data engineering services in AWS, you can use data engineering services in GCP and also in Azure. Okay, so in our case, we'll be using data engineering services that are there in Azure. Okay, and you know, uh, the services we are going to learn in Azure, the first step would be ADLS Gen 2, okay, which is the storage account or storage service. And then we will learn about Azure Databricks, using which you can actually process your data in parallel in a distributed fashion. Okay. Then I'm gonna walk you through Azure Data Factory. Okay. And we will be wrapping up our course with Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. Now let's try to understand what we will be learning and how these services would help us. So the first one is the storage account, the storage service. So, this is how our course is structured, guys. The first 1 week we will be spending on basics, trying to understand what exactly data is, different types of data we have, like I was mentioning, structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and then we'll try to understand what is batch processing, real-time streaming processing, and we'll try to understand different types of data based on relevancy, what is historic data, what is transaction data, what is OLIP engine, what is OLTP engine. We'll try to understand all these things. Okay, so once we are done with the data, then we'll move on to understanding cloud. So what exactly cloud is, different types of clouds we have, like public cloud, private cloud, and then hybrid cloud. Then we will be discussing about different types of cloud services we have, like software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, right? And then I'll be introducing Azure. I'll show you how you can create your Azure account for free of cost. Okay, and then we will be moving on to our first service, which is the basic service called storage account. Okay, for storage account, we will use something called as ADLS Gen 2. So here we'll try to understand, what are the different types of storages we have in Azure, like table storage, queue storage, blob storage, right? And, uh, we will deep dive into this blob storage, and this ADLS Gen 2 comes under this blob storage. Okay, and then we'll try to understand what exactly containers are, how the data is stored, and then how your data is managed, right? And then we'll talk about lifecycle management. How do you manage the tiers? Okay, when I say tiers, I'm talking about archiving. Okay, how do you archive your data by using lifecycle management policies? All these things you'll get to understand. Okay, and the next step, the next service which we are going to talk about will be Databricks. And in Databricks, I will be talking about SQL. First, we'll start with Spark SQL, then we'll try to learn PySpark, and then I'm going to talk about Databricks. Okay, so talking about Databricks, we will try to, I mean, we'll get to learn about what is this Unity catalog, what volumes are, how do we create external locations, right? And then how do we use notebook environment to create your Spark pipelines? And then I'm going to show you how to create a workflow, Databricks widgets, right? And then we'll talk about jobs, different types of job clusters we have, how the Spark distribution happens, or how the data will be distributed in your Spark cluster, how the data is processed in a distributed fashion, basically architecture. And then we'll talk about different file formats we have, like CSV, JSON, Parquet, Delta, Avro, right? And we will take the Delta format, which is the latest file format being used in the industry. And then we'll talk about the internals, like, how it maintains versioning, how it maintains lineage, and how can we optimize it, different optimization techniques we have. So Databricks will be covered in depth, guys. Okay, so Data Factory itself would take, sorry, Databricks itself would take around a month. A lot of things will be covered there. Okay, and then comes Data Factory. Then Data Factory is a service which can actually replace your Databricks. In Databricks, you'll have to write code, but in Data Factory, you don't have to write any code. It's a kind of drag and drop tool. Okay, so talking about this Data Factory, right? I'm gonna talk about different components of it, like pipelines, activities, integration runtimes, right? And then I'm gonna show you how to create your pipelines, data sets. Okay, and I'm also gonna show you how you can pull data from on-premise servers to Azure. Okay, in my case, on-premise server would be nothing but my machine, my PC. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to install this self-hosted integration runtime and then pull data from on-premise systems to cloud system. Okay. And like I was mentioning, right, ADF is a configuration driven tool. You don't have to write any code. And we will be spending around 2 weeks of time in Data Factory. And then comes Synapse Analytics. So by the time we get into Synapse Analytics, almost 60% of the Synapse Analytics, it's not 60, I would say 70% of the Synapse Analytics would be covered either in Databricks or Data Factory. Okay, so we will be spending less than a week for Synapse Analytics to learn the additional features what Synapse Analytics has to offer. And then we'll do a comparison as well, between these services, and then what services will be used in what purposes. Okay, and then apart from these things, we will also learn about supporting tools like, access connectors, and then I'm gonna show you how to create a key vault service to store your uh, uh, keyword service to store your guys, a small request, please hold your questions till I complete maybe I would take 5 more minutes, and then I'll address your questions. The reason I'm telling you this is whenever you're asking a question, it would splash on my screen and it completely distracts me. Okay, thank you. So yeah, we are talking about Key Vault, right? So basically, Key Vault is a service where we store all the sensitive information like passwords, secrets, tokens, whatnot. I'm gonna show you the Key Vault as well, and Key Vault integration with both ADF and Data Factory. Sorry, Data Factory and Databricks. Okay. Now, am I gonna just teach these services? Answer is no. Basically, data engineering is not about learning these services, guys. Data engineering is all about learning how you manage your data, how you automate your pipelines. Okay, so what data problems you get and how you address them. So that is the most important thing, and I'm gonna teach you that. Okay, it's not about teaching what is PySpark or what is Data Factory or what is a copy activity. Definitely not. Okay, now uh, that's all from my side. You know, and if you ask me was what prerequisites I would need, I would say SQL and Python. SQL, I'll be covering what is needed. Okay, I would spend around 5 hours in teaching you SQL, but I'll not be touching Python in this course as a part of this course. Okay, so you might ask me, boss, where do we need Python in our course? We would need Python for around 5 to 6 hours when I teach PySpark in Databricks. That's the only time where you would have some knowledge in Python. Okay, in the context of this course, but in the context of your real-time projects, if you are working on Databricks, you would need Python and PySpark for sure. Okay, so these are the prerequisites. Okay, so Python, boss, to what extent I will need to learn Python? Maybe core Python should do. You go to any Python tutorial, and watching up to collections should do the trick. Conditions, control statements, and then loops, then collections. This should do the trick, the very basic. And get yourself acquainted with the Python syntaxes, because PySpark, the name itself is indicating, right? We implement Spark applications using Python. Okay. Now, yeah, you can shoot your questions, guys. Time for Q&A. I already have few questions. I'll talk about them first. What are the prerequisites for Databricks, ADF, Synapse, respectively? I think I have answered this question, Naidu. What is the difference between SSIS and ADF? Honestly, I couldn't see your name. It's just showing Enum. Okay. So honestly, I have never worked on SSIS. Okay. But if you ask me the difference between SSIS and ADF, I'm not sure about SSIS, but I can talk about ADF. I should have ADF open because right now I'm dealing with ADF for my current batch. So this is a ADF portal, and this is how it would look like. These are few pipelines which I have built as a part of our course. Okay. So anything you want to do, any automation, maybe you want to trigger a Databricks notebook, or maybe you want to trigger a PL SQL script, or maybe you want to ingest data from your database to Azure, or maybe you want to copy data from storage account to storage account. You can do a lot of activities, and these are all the activities that are supported in ADF. You can do a lot of things. Okay, and this is a kind of uh, no tool and low tool code. Okay. And again, I don't want to generalize something which I have never seen, but whatever I have read from blogs or whatever I heard from people who have worked on SSIS, ADF is a cloud version of SSIS, or even more advanced. At least this is what I heard from people. Does that answer your question? Okay. So will I be able to clear Microsoft Azure Associate certification with this training? Uh, you will be able to clear Microsoft Azure certification even without attending this course if you know. Okay, so this is a very uh, generic question which I usually get. Uh, if clearing certification is your motto, you don't even have to attend this course, guys. I'll be very straightforward. Okay, because I don't believe in setting up wrong expectations. Okay, but if you want to clear Microsoft certification genuinely by learning things, this course won't be sufficient. Okay, but this course would give you a head start into your data engineering career. Okay, uh, and also talking about clearing certification, right? Again, I cannot say that you will not be able to clear the certification. It depends on how you answer every question you get from whatever you have learned. Because in Microsoft Data Engineer Associate certification, you have other tools too, other services. Like Cosmos DB is there, streaming analytics is there, Event Hub is there. Okay, so you can expect questions from those services as well. And hence I said, you might not be able to clear the certification using only these services. Now you might ask me, boss, then why only these services? Aren't you going to cover those services in our course? Answer is no, because if I have to cover all those services, our course would become a 6-month course, or at least I would say 4-month course. Okay. So I will be taking batch processing, which is occupying 80% space in the data engineering area, and will be covering the most used services in Azure. Okay. So you might ask me, boss, what is the proof? You can just open any job portal, depending on where you are currently residing, India, US, Canada. Okay, and then you can search for data engineering openings, and 90% of these openings you will see Azure Databricks. Okay, so clearing the certification, I understand it is important in the context of US folks and Canada, because they look for a certification in your resume before shortlisting your profile. So yeah, there are ways to clear it, and I'll be talking about those ways in the last session of the course. I don't want to talk about it now. Hope that answers your question, Vinay. Okay, great. So Naidu, end-to-end project. I'm not gonna show any live end-to-end projects, but I'm gonna talk about the projects I have worked on. See, I have almost 12 years of experience, right? Coming January, I'll be completing my 12th year. I'll be walking you through 5 to 6 projects which I have worked on, because end-to-end project is a myth. I can't take 2 MB, 3 MB dataset where we don't have a bigger scope for doing a lot of transformations and then show you as an end-to-end project. But what are the examples I'm gonna teach you? They are all real-time scenarios. So for example, for teaching until activity, I'm going to show you spooling directory example. For teaching if then activity, I'm going to show you archival solution, right? And then for teaching, you know, for each activity, I'm going to show you Databricks workflows example, right? Likewise, everything what I pick is a real-time scenario replication. Okay, so end-to-end project, if you are expecting a working demo project, then I can't promise you that. Technically, it's not possible, not just for me, but for any trainer. Okay, but once we are done with all these services, I'm gonna deep dive and explain you all the projects I have worked on. So for example, what are the use case I have taken, right? This is, I have made it for career IT, but this is something which I have done for Google. What are the digital marketing example I have given you? That's something which I have done for Google. Does that answer your question, Naidu? Uh, no, Naidu. I'm sorry. Because I understand this demo is something which will help you to take a decision. So I don't want to false commit anything.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Yeah, what I wanted to say was, like, I don't need an integrated, full-fledged project as such, but
mhm.
yeah, if you were giving any examples in silos, scenario-based ones, that will do.
That is there for every
Yeah,
example, like I was mentioning, right?
right,
Every example of mine are, example, the silos examples which you are referring to.
right. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that will do. Scenario-based also works. Like,
Yeah,
for
that
example,
will be there.
yeah, so this is the data requirement, and yeah, this is our source, and how will you do? Like, and if we
Yeah,
can
that is
understand
always there.
pipeline. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Without that, I don't have to teach this course. Somebody having theoretical knowledge can also do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, all right. And another question, like maybe a silly question, but I just wanted to
No, no,
understand.
there is nothing called as silly Naidu. So don't use that word. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go
So,
ahead.
thank you. I heard that Python, PySpark are needed. SQL anyway, like I'm fine with that. But I also understand that this course don't have to teach Python or PySpark in detail. But
Now,
before
PySpark in detail will teach.
Oh, is it okay?
Yes.
But before dwelling into the course, can you please mention any few topics in PySpark or Python that we can like fresh up the those topics and get back to the classes?
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. PySpark, you don't have to get into it. You can bank on me.
Mhm.
So Python, I prefer couple of websites for freshers. I mean, when I say freshers, beginners. Okay,
Mhm.
so Python, Java T point. You can ignore all these theoretical things. You can start from these variables, data types, operators, if, loops, break, continue, pass, strings, list, tuple, dictionary, functions. I think till here it should do, till Python functions or Python built-in functions, if you can cover that too
Got it. Yeah,
in the sequence.
sure.
Okay. If you still have time, I would recommend you going through this Lambda files, modules, maybe till Excel file.
Definitely. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though you're not going through these things, built-in functions and all those things, but go through this list comprehension. This is a very good topic.
Okay.
I think that is it. We should be good.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Yes, Sandhya. I see you unmuted. You have any questions?
Hi, Suresh. First of all, thank you for the demo. And I
My
have few
pleasure.
general questions regarding the
Yeah, please go ahead.
Azure data engineering. So my first question is, so nowadays, some of the clients are referring to the Microsoft Fabric for their projects, right? Like in
Yes,
general.
yes.
So what if I want to go into the data engineering through the like I want to learn the Azure data engineering,
Hmm.
and will this course be sufficient to get into the uh, uh, to these basics, will this be sufficient for me to get into those projects? Like I took the AC 900 exam. While you're explaining some of the concepts, like you explained about the storage accounts and
Hmm.
like in brief, right?
Hmm.
As your data breaks, data factory, what you gonna say? So my question is that will this course be sufficient for me just to touch base with the projects in future?
Yeah, so this is an excellent question. Okay, and this might help everybody. So, guys, the thing is very simple. Azure data engineering is a myth. Okay, I would say data engineering. Okay, in Indian market, see, the reason for bringing up Indian market into picture every single time I was talking is because I'm here. Okay, so people don't recruit for Azure specific data engineering or AWS specific data engineering. I have worked on all the three clouds. Okay, so generally people look for data engineering knowledge. Okay, when I say data engineering knowledge, you should be understanding how do you handle different types of data. Say, for example, it's a structured data. How do you handle it? A simple example. It doesn't matter whether my source is a MySQL database, SQL Server, or a Oracle database. At the end of the day, if I need to get data from these services, all I need is a JDBC connection. So all you have to know is that if there is a JDBC driver available and JDBC details available, you can pull data from any database. Similarly, data engineering is also same. You talk about Snowflake schema would be same no matter what database or a data warehouse or a any service you are using. Okay, so understanding what we do in our day-to-day activities is really important, like creating tables, writing these transformations, creating pipelines, and then scheduling them, understanding the batch processing, understanding the real-time streaming processing. Real-time streaming processing, unfortunately, we don't have any services for the same in our course, but I'll give you some good knowledge on how it works. Okay, so understanding these things is more important than learning a service. And say, for example, I'm taking Databricks. Databricks is a service, but what we use predominantly in Databricks is PySpark. So PySpark is not relevant to Databricks. Databricks is one of the services which supports writing PySpark scripts. Okay, so for example, in Synapse, you can still use PySpark scripts using a Synapse notebook. So you don't have Databricks there. And likewise, in Azure itself, you have HD Insights where you can write PySpark scripts. Similarly, in GCP, you go to Dataproc. There also you can write PySpark scripts. So knowing PySpark is more important than knowing Databricks here. But Databricks additionally will have few features to offer. Like I was mentioning earlier, Unity Catalog, volumes, Databricks widgets, Databricks workflows. These are all the features which are provided by Databricks on top of the PySpark support. Okay, so learning from one service to another service is not a big deal. Say, for example, if I am recruiting a data engineer in my interview, no matter how much experience he has, if he is going to do hands-on, meaning if he is less than 8 year, 9 year, he's not into some team management roles, I would check his knowledge on SQL and Python before I get into data engineering because I want them to scale up. For learning all these things, the prerequisites is having some data knowledge or the data engineering knowledge, and then strong SQL and Python skills. Maybe Python I can still excuse to some extent. With moderate skills also I'm okay, but I wouldn't prefer anyone who is not having a strong SQL skills. Again, I'm talking about experienced folks, experience more than 7+ years. Okay, and depending on the candidate's experience range, my expectations on that particular skill would come down. Say, for example, I don't expect 3, 4 year experienced guy to have the same knowledge of a 7 year experienced guys in SQL. I'm just giving a random example. But like I was mentioning, right? Python, SQL are the prerequisites, and then some data knowledge, maybe some hands-on knowledge on one of the clouds that should do for me. Okay, the terminology differs, and then the way you work differs. Switching between different services, rest all would be same. I can give you a simple comparison. BigQuery, we have somebody who is already working on Snowflake. Okay, so if you compare BigQuery versus Snowflake, maybe how they operate could be different. At the end of the day, you write and automate the same SQL scripts. Okay, so more than anything, gaining data engineering knowledge is important rather than worrying about these services. Say, for example, we have ADF in data Azure. If you are comfortable using ADF, and you have the data knowledge, then if you go to GCP, you have something called as data fusion there. You go to AWS, you'll have something called as AWS Glue there. Say, for example, I have worked on a third-party tool as well, which is StreamSets. Okay, so it's the same. Everything is drag and drop, the same configurations you will give, and maybe the UI differs, costing differs, and then support for some connectors differs. That is it. Hope that answers your question, Sandhya.
Yes, Suresh. Yeah. So basically, why I asked that question is like I recently completed my master's in US, and I joined as a data entry level data engineer, and my company is Microsoft partner. So it's like they're doing the projects for Fabric. So
I
that's
guessed it.
why.
I guessed it. The moment you asked about Fabric, I guessed it because except Microsoft partners, nobody are using Fabric at this point in time. But it's a
Right.
big thing going forward. Maybe in
And
next
this
2 year,
course
3 year.
is
Yeah,
Yeah, and this course is very related to what we are doing now. And I took the AZ 900 exam also, so I'm very much interested to look forward this course. But I'm not sure whether how it will be implemented in upcoming for my knowledge. Like, so if I saw the questions people asked, like, will there be any practical examples? I know we have examples in silos and all that things, but will there be any chance for getting a small set of data and to do it in live?
that's what we do.
Yeah,
We use
yeah,
retail data sets.
right. Yeah, that answered my question. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And just another question. So,
Mhm.
how long will be the course? Like, it says they said like it starts on November 1st.
I'll give you two answers. On paper, it's going to be 2 months.
Okay.
Practically, it's going to be around 2.5 months because
Okay.
there will be some holidays and then you have your Thanksgiving coming in, uh, Christmas coming in. Okay.
Right.
But my
Right.
target is to complete this course before Pongal. I go for a long leave.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have also plans for India for the. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thank you. That answered my question.
Yeah, because for your batch, I'll have to be very careful, keeping the holiday season in mind in both US and India locations. Most of my participants are from, these three countries, India, US, and Canada. Good
Right.
that I have one guy from Australia. Now I
Right.
can tell, I have students from Australia too.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is what it is. This batch, we will be extra careful in planning the sessions, keeping the holidays in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that would give
That
you a good
helps.
space to complete assignments too. I'll be giving a lot of assignments.
Oh, that's nice. That's what we I want. Like, to get some hands-on experience. Like, because there will be a lot, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a lot of assignments. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Don't expect solutions from me. I'll give you only assignments.
That's fine.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
That's it from me. Thank you.
We'll wait for a couple more minutes if you have any questions, else I'll be wrapping this up.
Yeah, I have one last question, sir.
Yeah, Naidu. It
Uh,
need
uh,
not be a last question. You can go ahead
yeah,
and ask. I have the
I don't
whole
want
day.
I don't want to bore people that much, but I just want to know the versions of the softwares. Like I understand that Python need to be installed on our laptops for
Python
practice.
3.
Python 3, okay,
But you don't
and
have to do anything in your laptop. You are learning cloud, buddy.
the cloud, right? Okay,
Okay, the
okay,
only software you will have to install is MySQL.
got it, got it. So we'll just spin up an instance in cloud and we'll work on that.
Yes, that's
Oh,
correct.
all right, yeah, got it. So all right, and not necessarily MySQL, right? Any database that we can connect to and pick the data.
Any database you can use. I will give you support only in MySQL.
MySQL, got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And another question, what will be the timings? Timings, your start date, all these things are, administrative questions, guys. You can reach out to Career IT point of contact. I don't have control on those things. Just like you have joined to attend the demo, I have joined to give you the demo. Cool. I hope you all enjoyed the demo. Please leave a note before you drop off from the session on how you felt about the demo, kind of a feedback, so that we can wrap it up. Thank you again to everyone for giving us this opportunity. Okay. Happy weekend and happy learning. Hopefully, we'll meet in the first session of our course.
And when that potentially would be?
Next week, I'm flying to Thailand. Most probably, it will be once I'm back,
Got it. Got it. Okay.
because I don't want to take couple of sessions and then take a break and then restart it. You'll lose interest.
Right. Right. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all.